Hey there, gorgeous. Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Minute. It's your daily podcast in which we analyze, we scrutinize, and we celebrate the rise of Skywalker 1 minute at a time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
And I'm Tony Thaxton from Bizarre Albums, the podcast, or .com. Yeah, you know. I feel like I have to say .com, but it's like, that's not the thing I'm really promoting here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us once again,
A
Tony
pleasure as
Thaxton,
always.
our band leader. We're talking about minute number 87. Minute number 87, it's here, folks. It starts off with Kylo Ren staring at the Force hallucination of his dad, the Spice Runner. And it ends with Kylo Ren staring at the Death Star 2. Let's start all over again. Kylo Ren staring at the Death Star 2 wreckage after throwing his garbage into the ocean.
He's littering.
Litter. This is already a super fun sight. He has to go throw a tortured kyber crystal into the mix.
Well, I guess, it doesn't, at that point, it doesn't matter, right? Like, if I'm throwing, like, my coffee cup into the Gowanus Canal, it's just like, who cares? It's like, it's already lethal. I
think one of Kylo Ren's first acts as Supreme Chancellor was to totally legalize lightsaber dumpage in all public waterways.
Right. Well, let's get rid of restrictions and red tape. Who needs that? Come on. Like, what? The government's going to tell me where I can throw my trash?
The era of Big Empire is over.
I just want to back up for a second to say that was a bit, and I would never litter and throw my garbage into the Gowanus Canal. So. Littering is one of my pet peeve things. I hate it, and so it
bugs you.
I don't want people to even in jest. I don't want people to think that I was littering. Don't litter. Give a hoot. Don't pollute or whatever. Help Woodsy spread the word. Never be a dirty bird.
Help keep America looking good.
That's right. Don't mess with Texas.
So Kylo Ren busts out the line about, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
It's his catchphrase. If this was a sitcom.
Is he consciously quoting himself, or is it like, would he be surprised to realize that he was saying the exact same thing? He seems enough concerned with his self-image and it, like, putting on I'm wearing a cool, edgy helmet, where he would be aware of his. So I feel like he is quoting himself as like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if I said the same thing I said right before I killed him last time?
Well, in this moment, I think he's breaking down enough and not being like his coolness is shedding, but he is doing that, like, it is kind of like, hey, remember when I said this, but not in a cool way. He's not trying to do it to be cool. He's losing his cool.
But is he saying it knowing that he said it right before he killed his father?
Mm-hmm.
But now he's like, oh, now it's tragic. Now that I'm on this side of things, it's changing.
Right. He's like, hey, remember when I said this? Remember I said that right before
It seems kind of like a jerk move to be quoting wouldn't it be cool if I said the same thing when I killed you that time? That would be cool. Let me say that, It seems kind of insensitive.
Well,
you should have. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. Please. I was just saying you should have said it and been awkward at the end. Be like, hey, I know what I have to do, but I don't. Sorry.
I think you should. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Get it? Like he's trying to get Han to be like, oh yeah, I see what you did there.
Right.
Clever.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that in that way, but I will say that I was a sucker for that moment, and seeing it the first time, I actually immediately was like, oh, he said the thing. Like,
you turned to whoever you were with. You turned to the person next to you, like, that's what he said in the other movie.
I probably did, sadly.
Tears streaming down your face as you.
So anybody want to switch seats? Somebody else's.
But so yeah, I like it, and like it how it's kind of flipped this time in a way, but
ring theory.
But at the same time, I don't. Maybe you guys have gotten. I will admit, I'm very behind on the show this season, so maybe you've discussed this, but probably not because we haven't really gotten there yet. I suppose.
You didn't hear last week's episode where I was texting you about John Machida in the middle of the episode.
Not yet. No. The redemption of Kylo Ren. I get it. Like I had a feeling it was going to go there, but to me, he's kind of irredeemable. It's like you could make an argument that he kills all three of our top stars.
Who is killing all of our top stars?
Because he straight up kills Han. You could
Mhm.
he basically is responsible for Luke's death in a way, and now you could if Leia was in fact doing this to save him,
yeah, doubly so, because like she's doing it to save him, and it weakened her because she was previously weakened from getting from the attack. That no, it wasn't Kylo Ren. He held his gunfire a little bit, but the squad that he brought there blew out the window and got Leia into space. So that's what she's weakened from that still.
Yeah, and even though he wasn't the one, he thought about it.
Yeah, he led
It's
the
not
people
like-
there.
Yeah, it's not like you going up to your parent and be like, I thought about killing you, but I decided not to.
No.
We're cool, right?
Yeah, one of my goons did instead, but that's
I have been against the redemption of Kylo Ren from the second he set foot on the screen. Only because, well, two reasons. Number one, because it makes the fact that Anakin turned back from being evil to becoming good, that was, to me, it seems like that should have been a once in a lifetime event. And now here we are 30 years later and another person turns back from the dark side. It kind of makes it less of a thing. It's like, oh, I had a rough weekend, but now I turn back to the good side and I'm cool now. And I think also we were able to accept it with Darth Vader turning good because we didn't see a lot of his firsthand badness. Whereas, and then later on, we found out, he butchered a room full of children. Whereas if we had seen him kill a room full of children and then go from being bad to good, we would have been like, that's it. He does one thing and that makes up for killing a room full of
Yeah, I never
he killed Han Solo. What could he possibly do to redeem himself from that? So
I never put that big of a picture about it in my head that the guy that killed a room full of children gets redeemed.
Yeah, for saving his own child. Wow, what a hero. So that's why I've always been kind of like, and I also thought well, they wouldn't have the guts to have him die unredeemed. So it seemed almost inevitable that they would have him turn that way. So that's why I was always kind of like, it was unexciting to me.
Yeah, I agree.
What if within his introduction, you basically get the okay, well, he's going back and forth between he's still got good in him, and I guess that would have been more interesting to have it be he's still got good in him, but oh nope, turns out not enough, and have him be more evil, which is kind of what happened in The Last Jedi. That you think that there's going that way a little bit, and then he's like, no, come and let's rule the galaxy with me and be bad guys together.
Yeah.
I think it was inevitable, and it would have been more interesting if he wasn't redeemed, but I don't know how that would have played. Unless he maybe you think that he's kind of going to be redeemed, and then at the last minute it turns out he steps out from the shadows and it was him who led Rey there and they have a battle.
Yeah, imagine if you watched if the prequels had come out first and you got to the end of Revenge of the Sith and you're like, that's it? Anakin's now a bad guy at the end? People would have been furious about it. We all knew it was going to happen, so it was this march towards the inevitable, but people would have been very angry, I feel like. And then they have to wait 20 years for the sequel to come out?
This is an unusual world that I'm picturing, where it's you just watch the prequel, they started with the prequels, and then there were there was no expectation of episode 4,
Yeah.
What a weird, I don't know.
Kylo Ben calls him Dad.
Yes.
Is this the first time we hear the word Dad in Star Wars? It sounds odd because it's usually the more formal mother, father,
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Or Maker.
right.
We don't get to see any scenes between Leia and Space Jimmy Smits, at least I guess in the Obi-Wan series we did. Did she call him dad or did she call him father in that?
Or like Papa or something like one of the more
Some other like fake term of endearment.
Who
I
else
can't
could have
think
been
of any.
dad? Yeah.
I mean, there aren't that many,
Yeah.
Oh, what about does Boba Fett call Dad?
Oh, yeah.
Conway is here.
Yes, yes,
There you
There you
go.
go. All right.
Boba Fett for the win.
Shout out to all the 90s kids who were yelling that at us just now.
Yeah, I could sense a disturbance in the Force.
But it is the first, remember like when we during all of The Force Awakens, he calls Han Solo, full name. And that,
Right.
I think I counted how many times the name Han Solo is said in that movie, and it's ridiculously high because anytime Kylo Ren is talking to him, he's like Han Solo. And so
Yeah.
instead of saying, he should have said that, it would have been kind of funny if he was just like Han Solo. But it is touching that he calls him dad. He's like Han Solo.
TV's Han Solo.
He's one of
sidebar.
the universe's top stars.
This is a sidebar I thought of. Why do the Larses not tell Luke? Why do they call him their nephew? Why don't they just adopt Luke and call him their son?
Luke
Like,
Lars.
It seems like that would be a way of eliminating the whole him wondering about his evil father storyline from his life. If you're just like, we're just going to lie to him. We are his parents as far as he knows. Maybe we'll leave a thing that after he dies, we'll leave him a note that says, hey, guess what? By the way, you're actually the son of a crazy space wizard. But then again, they didn't change his last name either. So maybe they're not the smartest of the tools in the space toolbox.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe none. Because Kenobi didn't change his name either. So
It's
kinda-
true. It's
Well, this is Brand. He needed it for the show.
yeah. It was a simpler time back then. People didn't think of to change their names and stuff.
Also, I don't think I've ever referred to him as just Kenobi. That felt weird and douchey for some reason. I apologize.
Kenobi. Does anyone ever call him that?
Like General Grievous, I think.
He calls him General
Kenobi.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah. He has more respect for him
he's
than
more
just calling him Kenobi.
Does anyone ever call him Obes Kenobes in the...
Only Rob Schneider when he went to go make photocopies at on the Jedi Academy.
in the Jedi Temple? Yeah, Rob Schneider in the Jedi Temple is a bit that needs to be further explored.
Yeah. Poofing it.
Yeah.
Yarrow poo.
Der Puffensteiner.
Oh my gosh. People are referring that sketch has got to be 35 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's as old as the prequel, so it works out.
Yeah. How have they not brought Rob Schneider? I mean, maybe they have. I'm unaware, but how have they not brought Rob Schneider back to do that in like a commercial or as like a reference somewhere?
I think Rob Schneider's on the no-fly list right now. He's.
But I mean, even like in an Adam Sandler movie or his dumb TV show, you know what I mean? It seems like such a low-hanging fruit of low-hanging fruit.
Right.
So
It's a matter of time.
speaking of low-hanging fruit, Han Solo ends his thing with "I know."
And by his thing, it's not only this speech, but his Star Wars career.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. So first of all, going back to Tony claiming he was an idiot, I feel like I don't recall that being. I might not have realized that he said "I know" and what he was referring to until just now. Like
You
I was
couldn't
just,
hear
yeah,
everyone
Oh,
for all the blubbering.
I am right there with you, Pete. But again,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was Han Solo quoting Han Solo being like, I didn't realize he was saying the thing. I thought he was just like, I know, son. Like, until just now watching it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's Han Solo. Like, Kylo Ren was going to say, Dad, he was going to say, I love you, but he didn't have to. And his son, and he said, I know. Because that's what I love you, I know. Like, that whole, I didn't just put it together while doing notes for this episode. But then I was like, well, also, that's a good, like go out on your catchphrase kind of a thing, you know, like the last thing that Han Solo ever says in Star Wars is "I know," which is kind of his famous line from earlier. You know what I mean? So it's like a good. I'm trying to think of what was Luke's. Well, Luke comes back as a Force ghost. That's. What was his previous last line?
Was it like before he was a Force ghost?
Han Solo, like in The Force Awakens, what's the last thing that Han Solo says?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Luke.
Yeah. He's like, we should probably get off this bridge.
Well, boy, we're up high, huh?
Well, for a second there, I thought you were going to stab me with your lightsaber. I don't think I realized. I definitely noticed it this time that he said "I know," and if I had known it before, I had forgotten that he says it.
All right, I feel like less of an idiot now too. Look at this. We're doing good work here, guys. I'm trying to look up.
Although I'm not crazy about it because it seems like one of those things where it's Han Solo quoting Han Solo because it's what the fans would want rather than like. Do you think Han Solo was in Carbonite going, "Oh, that was so cool when she said I love you," and I said I know? Oh,
that's what I was.
I'm going to go down in history for that one, you know.
That's what I was going to ask. Was like as that character, like, was that line cool to him? And he's like, yeah, like exactly what you're saying. Like that was always in the back of his mind, and he just anytime awesome he could whip it out, he would.
Anytime anyone has ever told him "I love you," he said, "I know." Would people have been angry if in the Solo movie Kira said "I love you" and he said "I know"? Would people have been like, "Oh, now we just know it's a corny line"?
Yeah. Well, he did it. Yeah, they would have. Remember, he did the thing with Lando though, where "I hate you, I know," which is a kind of a fun reference flip on it.
Yeah.
A reference flip.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking up the script or screenplay. This might just be a transcription of.
For his last.
I would have liked it better if he used "Yeah, I bet you have" as his catchphrase for every every situation. You know what I mean? But clunky it up.
The last thing that Han Solo said.
"Come home, son," or something.
Ouch.
In The Force Awakens, nope. It was yes, anything.
Oh, see, that's a message of positivity.
That yes, anything also sounds like a kind of one of those like dramatic rom-coms that Harrison Ford was in like the 90s. Harrison Ford and Andy McDowell in Yes Anything coming up on Showtime.
To say anything, do anything, and then everyone would have something anything.
Yeah, it's he says. Because he's saying like, I know what I'm being torn apart. I want to be free of this pain. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Will you help me? And then Han says, yes, anything. And then that's it. So that is a much better like kind of line to go out on. But we don't always get to choose our lines to go out on.
I mean, and technically this is just a memory. He can't give him any new information. So his last line was still yes.
Yeah, it was all just going to be stuff that like canned lines from previous things.
And I would not be surprised if Harrison Ford showed up in a Lego Star Wars or some other tiny little cameo as Han Solo from time to time.
Right.
Yeah. So he should keep in mind that whatever line he does might be his last line as Han Solo.
Right.
So to really...
Everybody should always keep that in mind.
Yeah, totally. And then he throws his lightsaber away.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes pretty far, it seems like. Is this a force throw, or does he just have a really good arm? Does force throw a new power, or is it just, is he throwing it and then just levitating it as it went away?
Levitating it away.
Yeah.
I think it's also a balanced, it's got heft but balance to it, so it throws really well. First of all, it looks like it would have good kind of, but then, also, is he using the force? I don't know. I think he's just giving it a good toss.
I mean, we don't hear a bloop, do we?
Wait, what is that? That's the
lightsaber
force?
The lightsaber landing in the water.
Oh, I thought that was his force power activated. Bloop.
So let's do that edit where he's like, yeah, and throws it away, and then he turns around to kind of mope some more, and you hear like, and it smacks him in the side of the head.
It's like Mjolnir.
Yeah.
He threw it all the way around the earth.
Or I was going to say,
or I would say,
New Zealand's fish.
If I was going to edit in sounds, I would want him to throw it, and then you'd hear like, you'd hear like broken glass and a cat
Right.
meowing.
Hey, my skiff.
So interestingly, now we have Darth Vader's lightsaber, Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and possibly Sheev's lightsaber, all within a like half a mile radius of each other. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And I mean, I think we have to go back. I know it wasn't Luke. Luke took his lightsaber back, right? Somehow. Because we see it on his belt, and then he has it later in Night the Green scene from last movie. But because he threw his away too. So yeah, I think Vader's lightsaber,
right.
Sheev's lightsaber, if it was in his desk.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was my question. I wasn't sure what you meant by
right.
Yeah,
like if he had it in like his, like kind of like how Padme had that little like like the little kind of man cave drink cooler thing, but it had her gun in it.
That's right. Yeah, in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
that's a Naboo. It's a Naboo style,
right?
To have a little compartment for your weapon,
right?
I mean, also, do we assume did Sheev's body like land in that reactor thing, or if his lightsaber was in his sleeve, as we've seen, that's his kind of he likes to put it in his sleeve as
Sheev's sleeve.
Sheev's sleeve Palpatine. Did it wind up just landing on the ground of the reactor of Death Star 2, or did it blow up in mid, or did it kind of get transported to Exegol, or what's the story? Anything in the novelization?
He's like, give this to my granddaughter.
He had to swim all the way back to Exegol.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to do a those are story, open story points. You can do them. It would be a fun thing to have a young Sith enthusiast headed to Kefbir to go kind of, spelunking and or diving. We're gonna get some underwater scenes. We haven't had enough of those. So get some underwater scenes of somebody going and finding at least one of the I'd say go with Darth Vader's lightsaber. It's an underrepresented lightsaber these days. The classic Darth Vader lightsaber. That's a good lightsaber.
We don't see him building. We never see him getting the red lightsaber or using it for the first time.
No, which is
I guess the first time we see it used is in, well, if you go by movies, it's Rouge 1, but if you go by TV shows, then it would be Kenobi. Because Kenobi would be the first time we see Darth Vader as Darth Vader.
Right.
Like, using his lightsaber.
Again, missed opportunity there for Revenge of the Sith, but we're not going to relitigate that.
My last note is that it's cool seeing the surface of the Death Star 2 there, the wreckage of it, and the guns there. How many guns do you think were on the Death Star?
I'd say about 20 guns, some on the surface, some on the tower.
Okay. That's my last note.
Yeah, it's a cool. I kind of wish we saw more of it overall, but it is neat to have as a backdrop there. There's need to be on it at all, and I liked the parts that we saw of it. Would I be sick of it if the whole movie happened there? Maybe, I don't know, but like it was neat setting to have there.
Agreed.
The only way it could be improved is if there were like windows, windows that were on the Death Star, and if they would open up and like Sammy Davis Jr. would be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Or whatever, and then close it, or various Paul Williams.
But it'd be like it would be Star Wars guys, so it would be like, Watto would pop out and be like, "Annie, oh, you look just like Annie. Wait a minute." Grandson.
I hope we see Watto again. Now that we're in this prequel renaissance, I feel like it's going to happen.
I legitimately wondered if he might pop up in Kenobi.
Yeah, I mean, on Tatooine and everything.
Yeah. There's rumors there might be more of those, right?
Who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
We have to find out how. What else is there that we need to explain about Obi-Wan Kenobi's time on
Look, I'm not saying
Thought it
it should happen. I'm just saying
I
possible.
would
It's possible.
love it's possible.
Why don't you go find out?
I would love to see like a workplace sitcom of Obi-Wan Kenobi, like carving up desert whales or whatever that was, chopping up
Like
meat.
early Roseanne.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's just like, at the office, and he's got a bunch of people that he works with, and there is a little bit of like, creature tension, of like, oh, I hope nobody finds out my secret, but mostly it's just kind of, workplace comedy.
Steve Carell is his boss.
Yeah, Space Steve Carell. Steve Carell with like a as an Ishi Tib or something. So he's got like weird like makeup and doing like.
Well, then
That
they're
would be
definitely
funny.
pulling out. That's what Sheev said for that.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, all right. I guess that will wrap up the Ghost of Han Solo minute. Unless you guys have anything else to say about that. We'll be changing locations next time.
not packed.
Yeah, anything else about Kylo Ren specifically, Tony? This is the last time you'll get to see him for the week, so
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
and forever, I guess, because he never. Oh, I guess he comes back at the end of the movie.
Hmm.
Tony will not
No,
be
no.
back at the end of the
Ben, Kylo Ren is gone.
Yes.
Yes. No, I don't think so. I think that was my big thing about him was just that I do like the character overall, but I didn't want him to be redeemed, but was pretty sure it was going to happen. Although I will say though, when Rey stabs him, I remember in the moment, again, idiot, thinking like, oh wow, they really did it, not knowing what was coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
Although maybe that's why they did the whole, Chewie dies and instantly we find out he's alive. C-3PO dies and he turns out to still be alive. And now Kylo Ren dies, but then he turns out to still be. So it's kind of like this is like the rule of thirds, thing of, oh, you think someone's going to die and oh no, gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you think Adam Driver will return as Kylo Ren
the
at
spy
any
who
point?
loved me.
Will he return as a Force ghost flashback?
I feel like at some point all of these newer characters are going to pop up somewhere.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Give him
I guess
time to
he'll-
digest and do
Yeah.
one or two other things.
Yeah. Well, they've already there's supposed to be some sort of Rey movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So we already know that's coming. So
Right.
there's
So
got to be other.
would be good to get him in there, even if it's just I figure like what I don't know. Granted, I'm not in anybody's shoes here. I can picture what it would be like, but I can't imagine that if they said, hey, we're going to give you like $1 million if you just like come over to the studio, just do a green screen session where we're going to have you in as a Force ghost, kind of, giving Rey some advice. So just, it's like almost like Krusty the Clown, like come in and say these 5 things in front of a green screen, and then we'll just, insert you in there as a Force ghost. Like, I can't imagine anybody saying no to that, but
Yeah.
Liam Neeson certainly said yes.
yeah.
I think they should bring him back because, they're a dyad. They're linked via
That's what
the
I heard.
Force. So I think Rey should be running her Jedi school, but then there's like the, Ben Solo is almost like a kind of, she's like a ghost that only she can see and interact with. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like
I feel like there's
Orson from Mork and Mindy. So like at the end of each lesson, like Rey would go talk to Kylo Ren and be like, "So I learned something new about the Jedi students this week."
Oh, that is a good way to do it. Then you wouldn't even have to add Adam. You just show the back of Adam Driver because you never saw Orson's face.
Right.
You
Yeah.
saw
Or just have him be he can literally phone it in.
Yeah.
And
But is
then
there must be some other pop culture thing where someone has like a invisible like friend like that. What am I thinking of? There must be.
Mr.
like a
Snuffleupagus.
But he always just disappears whenever
Right.
people are around. It's not like he's there and no one else can see him. Anyway, that's how they should bring back Adam Driver as a ghost.
Okay.
Anyway, now that this minute is done, let's wrap it up with a little plug for a little thing we call 8-Day Greedo. That's right. It's our hotline. You can call it up on your telephone. Local charges may apply. and leave us a hopefully short, hopefully funny, and hopefully possibly informative message about something you feel like about Rise of Skywalker. And just as a prompt, how do you feel about the confrontation between Palpatine and Rey? Is it a metaphor for millennials and boomers? Let us know. Give us a call at 8-Day Greedo, and then join us back here tomorrow for another episode of Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars
Episode 9. The Rise of Skywalker.